At MIT, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate MIT's code of conduct?
It depends on the context.
It does not depend on the context. The answer is yes, and this is why you should resign. These are unacceptable answers across the board.
All right, folks, let's get right into it. One of the most jaw-dropping congressional moments, unfolded right in front of our eyes. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik asked the simplest question imaginable. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate your code of conduct? You'd think the answer would be one word. Yes, clear, loud, undeniable. But instead, what did America see? Dodging, legal jargon, hair-splitting, and then the line that shocked the nation, it depends on the context. That's right. Leaders of Harvard, Penn, and MIT couldn't say genocide is wrong without conditions. And then Stefanik dropped the hammer. This is why you should resign. It was raw, it was powerful, and it went viral. To understand why this moment exploded, let's rewind. On campuses across America, tensions were boiling. After October 7th, protests grew heated. Jewish students reported feeling unsafe as chants like Intifada echoed through quads. Now, these aren't small schools. We're talking Harvard, the richest, oldest university in the United States, Penn, another Ivy with massive influence, MIT, a global powerhouse of research. These schools don't just teach students, they shape presidents, judges, CEOs. So when their leaders sat in front of Congress, the stakes were sky high. And Stefanik wasted no time. She asked a yes or no test of basic morality. And that's when it all unraveled.
At Penn, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's rules or code of conduct? Yes or no?
If the speech turns into conduct, it can be harassment, yes.
I am asking specifically calling for the genocide of Jews. Does that constitute bullying or harassment?
If it is directed and severe or pervasive, it is harassment.
Instead of clarity, what did we get? Legal jargon, hedging, word games. At Penn, President Liz Magill said maybe it's harassment if it turns into conduct. Conduct. Really? Do we have to wait until someone commits genocide before calling it harassment? That's insane. And at Harvard, President Claudine Gay looked America in the eye and said, it depends on the context. Folks, what context? Is there ever a context where genocide is acceptable? Number. There isn't. That's why jaws dropped across the country. You don't need a PhD to answer Stefanik's question. You just need a moral compass. And the presidents failed that test. Live on camera. Stefanik didn't let them off. She pressed again and again. Her voice rose. This is the easiest question to answer. Yes, yes. But she got only word salads in return. And that's when she cut through. This is why you should resign. Millions watching at home nodded.
What's the context?
Targeted as an individual. Targeted at an individual.
So why did this clip go viral? Because it wasn't politics. It was a gut check. Every day we expect spin. Politicians dodge. Bureaucrats dance. But this was different. The question wasn't complex. It was about genocide, a moral absolute. And when leaders hedged, it proved what millions already felt, that elites live in a different world, a world where common sense is buried under jargon. Social media lit up. Clips of Claudine Gay saying, it depends on the context, hit millions of views. Memes popped up overnight. Stefanik's line, this is why you should resign, trended worldwide. Why? Because in the end, it was about decency. And that's why it struck such a nerve. The fallout was immediate. Within days, Liz Magill at Penn resigned. Donors froze millions. Politicians demanded accountability. Harvard's Claudine Gay held on longer, but under fire, she stepped down too. MIT's Sally Kornbluth survived, but her reputation took a hit. And this wasn't just about careers. It was about the mission of universities. Should schools that take billions in taxpayer and donor money be held to higher moral standards? Should students feel safe, no matter their faith? For many Americans, the answer after this hearing was obvious. These schools had lost their moral compass. But let's zoom out. This wasn't just about 3 presidents fumbling a question. It was about trust. Trust in universities that shape our leaders. Trust that when it comes to hate, they'll take a stand. Instead, America saw evasion. They heard cowardice. And that hit deep. Because universities aren't private clubs. They're part of our democracy. They're supposed to teach values, but if Harvard, MIT, and Penn can't say genocide is wrong, then what does that say about them?
Context.
It does not depend on the context. The answer is yes, and this is why you should resign. These are unacceptable answers across the board.
Why did this resonate beyond politics? Because people are tired. Tired of elites dodging basic truths. Tired of being told words don't mean what they mean. Tired of leaders who treat accountability as optional. When Stefanik said, "This is why you should resign," she voiced what millions were thinking, and that's rare. Most hearings fade. This one, it became a cultural moment. So what's the lesson? For universities, clarity matters. You cannot dodge when asked about hate. You cannot hide behind legal jargon. For politicians, the simplest questions can be the most powerful. For the public, don't let anyone complicate morality. Free speech debates get messy, but genocide, that's not complicated. Words matter, leadership matters, and silence has consequences. So here's the bottom line. Leadership is about courage. It's about saying what everyone knows to be true, even when it's hard. If the presidents of Harvard, Penn, and MIT can't pass that test, they don't deserve to lead, because truth does not depend on context. It never has, and it never will. If you believe truth still matters, share this video, subscribe, stay engaged, because democracy only works when leaders are held accountable to the truth.